Hi, I'm Kitty, and would you like to have some hugs and kisses? There you are. We're gonna make this beautiful bracelet. The technique is somewhat right angle weave, but the pattern is called Hugs and Kisses. So the way how we're gonna make this bracelet is we're gonna start one end with the clasp. We're gonna work our way all the way down at the clasp on the other end, then run up and down and add some more beads on the sides. Now all the material list is in the description. However, towards the end of the video, I'm gonna go through everything what you need to know. I'm gonna give you some variations and we're gonna look at loads of different color samples. So step one, what you're going to have to do is pick up 2 seed beads, a crystal, a large miracle, a crystal, 2 seed beads, and go through a loop on the clasp. Then you're going to go ahead and knot your tail end and your working thread together. Now I did leave the bobbin on because later on if I do need more thread, I can just come here, unreel it and use it. I'm going to go ahead and make a knot so I have a really nice and secure and strong beginning for my bracelet. Just a square knot right over left, and then you're gonna go left over right and pull this up nice and tight. Now I'm gonna follow my thread path around. So I'm gonna go through the loop on the clasp, the first 2 seed beads, then gonna go through the crystal and the large miracle bead itself to be in position to add more beads. Step 2, you're gonna pick up 1 crystal, 4 seed beads and another crystal, and as you're exiting towards the bottom of your large miracle beads, you're going to come from the top to form another loop on the top, just like that. Then I'm going to take my thread and go through the first crystal and the 2 seed beads. I'm going to pick up an extra seed bead and then continue my thread to the other 2 seed beads and the crystal on the other side, just like that. And I'm just going to slightly turn it to be in position to complete my pattern. Step 3. So what you're going to do here, you're going to fill up the gaps on both of the sides with crystals. So you're going to go ahead and pick up 2 crystals, and then we're going to go through this crystal at the bottom and the seed beads, going to go all the way around to the other side. Again, I'm going to go under the loop or inside the loop of the clasp, and I'm going to come out on the other side to this crystal. I'm going to pick up 2 further crystals and then make my way right to the top. And I want to come out of this middle seed bead here to be in position to add further beads. Step 4, you're going to pick up 2 seed beads, a crystal, a large miracle bead, a crystal and another 2 seed beads, and as you're exiting at the top end of this seed bead here, we're going to come through the bottom just like that. So we form another loop and the miracle bead just going to sit just right there. So we have completed our X almost. We're going to tidy up just in a second. So I'm going to follow my thread path around until I come out of the other side of the miracle bead. There we go. So going through this 2 seed bead, the crystal, and then I'm going to come through the miracle bead itself. So then you're going to go ahead and pick up a crystal. You're going to pick up 4 seed beads and another crystal, and you're going to come through that miracle bead. So I'm exiting at the top, so I'm going to come through from the bottom and pull this up nice and tight. Then I'm going to continue my thread through the first crystal and the first 2 seed beads. I'm going to pick up an extra seed bead and go through to the other side. Now I'm in a position to pick up my crystals to fill my crystals in. So I'm going to pick up 2 crystals and I'm going to go through the crystal and the first 2 seed beads. Now pay attention here, because what we need to do here is we need to jump over this middle seed bead, because at the moment our X is a little bit curved on one side, but the minute we jump over this middle seed bead, so I just came through the crystal and 2 seed beads, I'm going to turn this and not going through that middle one, but going through the other 2 seed beads and the crystal on the other side. And when I pull this up nice and tight, you will see that our curve on one side of the X is going to turn into a proper X, just like that. When I pull it tight, I'm going to go ahead and pick up 2 more crystals and get to the top, the furthest bead away from my clasp, just like that. And all is left to do is to repeat this process all the way down to the other end. Now with your last unit, that's where you're going to be adding your clasp. And for measurement, when we're going to add the 4mm miracle beads in here, when we're coming down, this is going to somewhat pull together a little bit. So do add an extra unit on there, and then that will be the perfect size for you. So once you get down to the other size, just about sizing what I mentioned, you need to add an extra unit. So this is already looking like bigger than the bracelet I have here, which is a perfect size for me. However, once we add the 4mm beads running down and running up, we're gonna make the bracelet smaller. So this one is still need an extra miracle bead on there. So if I push them down, you can see that how much this is gonna shrink, and we still need to add one more with the clasp. So to add your clasp, you're gonna add it on the very last section here. So I'm gonna go ahead and attach this miracle bead the same way as I would be attaching any other unit to start with. So I picked up 2 seed bead, a crystal, a miracle bead, another crystal, and 2 seed beads. And I'm gonna go back through this seed bead here, just like that, and pull this up nice and tight. Then I'm gonna follow it around into the 2 seed beads, and then the crystal, and to the miracle bead. And I'm gonna pick up what we picked up all the way along is a crystal and 4 seed beads. But when I come around the second time around, instead of adding an extra seed bead there, what we have been adding all the way along, we're gonna be adding the clasp one. So I'm just gonna pull this tight. I'm going to come through the crystal and the first 2 seed beads, and here is the point where we'll be adding an extra seed bead. I'm just going to go through the loop on the clasp, just like that, and then carry on and complete this unit as it is. So I'm going to add the crystals in, and I'm going to come through and reinforce this very last section here. Probably go through a couple of times so I have a really strong connection with my beads. And then we're going to go around and add the edges. So just get up to the top. I'm just going to add the last 2 crystals here. Now I don't have enough thread here, and I'm going to leave my thread right up the top here. I only have probably under a feet left. I haven't got enough thread to run all the way down and run all the way back. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take more thread off my bobbin, and I'm going to go ahead and add a needle onto the end of it, and that's what we're going to use to run up and down. And then again, we can tie our ends together when we meet our thread here. So to add the smaller miracle beads in your bracelet, you're going to come through this 2 seed bead and the crystals all the way down on one side. And when I get to the seed beads, the X part, I'm just going to stop. I'm not going to go into the seed beads. I'm going to pick up a miracle bead and go straight across and go through the crystal beads, all 4 of them. Then I'm going to pick up my next miracle bead and go through the next lot of crystal beads. You're going to repeat this all the way down, then turn around and come back up on the other side. So just going through the crystals, adding a miracle bead on, and going to the next lot of crystals, just like that. And then I'll show you how to do a 1 thread knot, how to secure your thread off, but run all the way down and then come back up on the other side. So when you go down to the other side, I just like to put my work down on the table and just sort of brush my hand across it, because I don't want one side slightly pulled in more than the other. But with that, we are added all the beads what we need to. Now you got 2 options here. You either take your thread all the way down and meet your other thread, knot it together, and just take it through a few more beads and cut it. Or the other options, what you can do is a 1 thread knot. So I'm going to show you what a 1 thread knot here is. I'm just going to go through a few more beads. Now I'm going to go between these 2 beads. So I'm going to go under those beads, and I'm just going to catch the thread path between those 2 beads. I'm not going through any of the beads. I'm just catching the thread path between those 2 beads, and I'm going to pull this through. And as I'm pulling it through, you can see this loop is forming. Before that loop disappears, I'm going to take my needle through that loop, and when I pull this, can you see that little knot is forming? Then I'm going to go ahead And I'm going to go further down, just go through a few more beads and repeat the process again. Just come through this miracle bead. I'm just going to go under, catching the thread path, pulling it through. Before this loop disappears, I'm going to go through that loop. And again, I'm making a really nice and secure knot under. Usually on a bracelet, I add 2 or 3, and then never cut your thread off right next to your knot. Always take it through a few more beads, and then you're ready to cut your thread off. The materials I have used for this project is 4mm miracle beads, 10mm miracle beads, size 8 seed beads, 2.5 by 3.5mm crystals, a 12mm magnetic clasp, needle and thread. The thread is super on size D. You could use any other beading thread what you like. 2.5 by 3.5mm crystal is kind of have to be that size, but you can get away with a little bit smaller crystals, just by not adding 2 but adding 1 in when you are picking up your crystals and you're going around. If you are using smaller crystals, you might need to pick up 3, just slightly altering the pattern. Size 8 seed beads. Now you could go down to size 11, then when you are picking up your seed beads, instead of picking up 4, you would have to pick up 6. So you really have to alter the size, the number of beads what you're picking up. Now for the 10mm miracle beads, you could use 10mm pearls, you could use 10mm crystals, any beads you really like. If you want to go up or down in the size of the miracle beads, then you need to adjust the number of seed beads what you are adding around it. Again, 4mm miracle bead, you could use 4mm crystals, you could use 4mm pearls, any other 4mm bead. If you are making your middle miracle bead smaller or larger, then you're probably going to have to adjust this number as well. Now let's go and have a look at all the different colors. Just have a look at the beautiful colorways I have got here. And before I show you off the colorways, I need to say a special thank you for a friend, Brenda, who helped me up to make some of these bracelets. So thank you so much, Brenda. I couldn't have shown all this beautiful array of colors without you. So let's have a look at them. I love blending different colors to different finishes. Here we have got a matte seed bead with the miracle beads and the crystals. Then you have got colors when I've used all very similar colors. So the whole of the color just kind of pens together. Then we do have colors where we used a darker, the magnetics are sticking together. When we have used darker seed beads and darker crystals, and then the miracle beads just really pop at them. Now, just in case if you didn't know, miracle beads are called illusion beads as well. And it is because depending on how the light is hitting them, you can see a special bead in a bead. There isn't a bead in a bead. It's just the illusion on the coating of the bead, how they made it. I really do love them, and I try to use them a lot because they are so beautiful. But look at that, they actually look like there's no batteries in this but they look like they are lit up, but they're really beautiful. So if you liked today's make, then don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, so I'll be sure to design more jewelry with this technique, perhaps using different beads. Just want to let you know, I do release videos on every single week with similar projects of all sorts of different jewelry making and home decor projects. So do subscribe to the channel and then turn the bell on. You have to turn the bell on to get notified. I do live videos as well, and it's the perfect opportunity for you to come along and ask any jewelry making questions so I can answer it in the live for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I see you in the next one. If you don't want to miss out on my next video, then be sure to turn the bell on after you have subscribed to my channel. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.